get a little bit jazz going here. Dancing. Oh, they're dancing. I didn't even have to ask them. Wow, you're all good. Okay. This is a little bit different. We're going to lower that. Look at these dancing divers. My goodness. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now. That's a different opening song. I'm Bonnie D, and I'm going to take, oh, forgive me for this, please, a deep dive into a new topic I've never, you all knew I was going to say that, a topic I've never covered in, well, maybe 500 shows over the past 7 years, 20 years. Who is counting? There we go. We're going to talk to three, you see them on the screen. They are divers. They are underwater photographers, videographers, but they also happen to be authors in a variety of genres. So I'm thrilled to welcome all of you, and I'm going to open the show with, let's get started. So here we go, and I have a special gift for each of you, and let me do my intro. Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now. As technology takes a deep dive, we'll explore when, where, and how. With me, Bonnie D, on my Scarlett Mic live streaming bright, the future of underwater photography. Just keep diving, right, Gil, is our spotlight. When I call your name, wave. Paul J. Mila, wave hello. Gil Zeimer, wave hello. Eric Douglas, wave hello. Published photographers and authors 3 will predict how technology will capture sea life with dramatic clarity. Their photos and videos will transport you into the blue with fascinating images and scenes amazing and true. And now I have my gift for each of you. Paul, you're first. From Brooklyn's busy streets where curiosity found its start, Paul explored museums, zoos, and the wonders of nature and art. Though school success arrived a little later than some may expect, a professor's challenge inspired his achievement and earned Paul's respect. From economics and banking to electronic payments in their prime, Paul built an impressive career, all in good time. And from TV's Sea Hunt to oceans where Cousteau's voyages appear, underwater exploration captured Paul's imagination year after year after year. After 9/11, Paul followed his dream to Cozumel and colorful creatures below, discovering whales, sharks, and sea life wherever his adventures would go. Now a photographer, novelist, and children's author sharing stories with delight, Paul predicts how technology in his camera may bring the sea's wonder into sight. Paul, I hope you enjoyed that.
Thank you. You captured everything.
That's why I asked for an origin story. And Gil, you're next. Gil, growing up near San Francisco, where creativity filled the air, Gil discovered stories, broadcasting, and advertising everywhere. With a voice made for radio and ideas eager to take flight, he followed words and imagination to a career writing copy right. From madman agencies to freelance success across the years, Gil crafted thousands of campaigns and earned industry cheers. Then a scuba trip to Grand Cayman changed more than a vacation plan, launching an underwater passion that still inspires this aqua nut fan. From manta rays and humpbacks to adventures beneath the sea, more than 300 diving stories followed from his curiosity. Now author, photographer, storyteller with anecdotes rich and rare, Gil predicts how camera technology may reveal new wonders just waiting for us there. Gil, I hope you enjoyed that.
Very much.
I'm glad. Okay. And Eric, you're now. As a boy, Eric watched Jacques Cousteau exploring worlds beneath the sea, dreaming one day he might dive alongside the captain he longed to be. With curiosity, adventure, and storytelling guiding his youthful plan, from rock hunting clubs to pizza dough flying, he became his own unique man. A journalism degree opened pathways where words and images could unite, while scuba diving, photography, and travel brought new perspectives to light. From PADI, PADI, and Divers Alert Network to stories both near and far, Eric documented underwater adventures as their reporter star. Through thrillers, children's books, and photo documentaries rich in scope, Eric shares the people, places, and experiences that inspire hope. Now photographer, novelist, and broadcaster exploring what technology may do, he predicts innovative imaging tools will reveal new stories beneath the blue. Eric, welcome. I hope you enjoyed that.
I've never had a poems dedicated to me before. That's nice.
That's why you're on my show. That's what I do for all my guests. Let me finish this. So, with their vision-rich underwater explorers, with these, the future shines bright as technology assists their adventures with bold new insight. From color and motion to sea creatures' drama in the flow, we'll explore how tech may help human divers' stories glow. There you go, gentlemen. So, how'd I do? What do you think,
Great.
Gil? You like it?
Loved it. Loved it.
Okay,
Yes.
good, good, good. Okay. I tell you what, let's go around the table just briefly, get a little more from each of you before we do the quotes and the predictions. And I want to tell all of our viewers, well, nobody's watching right now, but they're gonna. I want to tell all our viewers that we're gonna have a photo show of their beautiful photography and we're gonna play videos as well. So you're in for a real treat. Paul, I'm putting you on speaker view. Why don't you take 2 minutes and just fill in some blanks, connect some dots for me, Paul, and tell us a little more about yourself. And welcome.
Well, everything kind of changed for me on a trip to Cozumel one day. I always wanted to try underwater, some scuba diving and things like that. Having grown up, as you said, watching Jacques Cousteau and before that, Mike Nelson on Sea Hunt.
Right.
And I always wanted to try it, but it was, too busy raising a family and all the things that go with that. So they had an all-inclusive experience where you could try scuba. I tried it, met a very interesting instructor who became the lead for my books. I used her background, and just going underwater, changed a whole lot. To see, it was one of those, looking back, many years, gin clear water, amazing sea life swimming around, the sea turtles and fish and things like that. And I said, I have to do this. So I went back home, got certified, came back to Cozumel for the completion of my certification. I met up with Allison again, who was my dive instructor. And from there on, it's been a real trip. And I always loved to write. I figured someday maybe I'll write. Me and math were like, we didn't get along together, but writing I could do. So I was one of those kids that math is a mystery, but writing worked. And had no idea what I would write about one day, except, having then been, scuba diving for a while, had amazing adventures, met some incredible people who became background visitors in my novels. And that kind of, changed the course of my life. And then when I was still working at the time, but when 9/11 happened, that was a big wake up call for me, seeing it happen almost in front of me. And I said, I don't know how much time we all have. It's nice to say you'll do something at a certain point in your life, but who knows when that's going to be. So I said, you know what? The house is paid for. The kids' college money is put away. My wife was a teacher, and that provided the benefits. I'm going to change my career here, my life direction. And I started scuba diving and writing, and been doing that ever since.
Thank you. And I have been the recipient of many of your novels, hard copy,
Thank
and
you.
they are wonderful. And Paul researches the topics, hidden treasure and murders and almost murders and who's the culprit and who's diving with whom and what boat are they using and what waters are they in. You are an excellent writer, Paul. I appreciate it. I have a whole library of your books here. I met Paul on my TV show, Something to Talk About in New York many years ago, and we've stayed friends over the years. Yes, we were diving into friendship. There we go. Gil, I'm putting you on speaker view. I would like you to tell us a little bit more about yourself too. So, Gil Zeimer, talk.
How y'all doing? And I can say y'all because I lived in Texas for a while.
And
So,
I'm in Tennessee.
yeah, right, I remember that. So I grew up in San Francisco, where the ocean is about 50 degrees on a warm day. And I grew up a mile from the ocean. I could see it from my house, but I never put my toe on the water there because it wasn't appealing. Um, I loved to swim. I did a lot of snorkeling in my teens. And when I always wanted to learn how to dive. And in 1981, I had a girlfriend in Dallas who I met through advertising colleagues. We both worked for agencies. We started dating long distance. And she knew I wanted to dive, and she was a diver. So she said, hey, I'm going to Grand Cayman with another couple. Come with me. You can take a resort course, see if you like it. So I did. I fell in love with scuba diving instantly. As Paul said, gin clear water. It was the best visibility I ever saw, like 150 feet or so. I mean, it was just endless. And I think there's a picture of that coming up with me in a t-shirt and swim trunks and a few pounds of weight on my stomach, because the water was so warm I didn't need a wetsuit. So I did the diving. The next year I moved to Dallas to be closer to her. She helped me find a great job in advertising. The fourth day I was there, it was my birthday. She took me out to dinner and she dumped me. And I went, well, that's interesting. And my twin brother got engaged that day, who had been my roommate in San Francisco. So anyway, I lived in Dallas for 4 years. While I was there, I got certified at a dive shop up the block. And the certification dive was in this reservoir south of Dallas. It was 60 degrees. It was a silty bottom. Visibility might have been 2 feet generously. It was horrible, but I knew how good it could be. And then I moved back to San Francisco in '86, and I started going on dive trips to the Caribbean, Hawaii, and Mexico, and live at boards, and really got the bug. And then I wrote my first scuba story in '93 after I was married, and I'm in a mixed marriage. She's a diver. She's not a diver, but I am. Same religion, but mixed marriage. And so we negotiate our vacations. Last year, I went to Palau for 12 days. She went on a hiking trip to Utah with her girlfriends. And then the fall, we went to Spain for 3 weeks. And we do that often. I'll go on a trip, she'll go on a trip, and we do something together. So over the years, I've been fortunate to have written over 300 stories about diving, newsletters, blogs, articles, and compiled 65 of them into a book last year.
Thank you very much. A very interesting tale of moving for the girlfriend. She's not the one you married. We know that. Very, very interesting. And we're going to show the cover of your book in our slideshow. So thank you. And the one I haven't met yet is Eric Douglas. And Eric, impressive bio. So I'd love for you to tell us a little bit more, please, and welcome.
And it's a pleasure to meet you. It's good to see the other two gentlemen. I'm actually struck by just how similar our stories are in a lot of ways. I've been to Cozumel 4 times, I think. I've been to Grand Cayman 4 times. You know, we've had those pretty same overlaps. I learned to dive where I'm sitting now in West Virginia. I had wanted to learn to dive a long time. Learned to dive with my girlfriend at the time, Gil. And I had just graduated from Marshall University, with a degree in journalism. And I had, as a kid growing up, I'd always wanted to go to work for National Geographic. And so I looked at my resume, which did not have a whole lot on it, and thought, what can I do as a writer that would make me more appealing to National Geographic? Now, I thought about learning to fly. And I thought about scuba diving. Scuba diving is much cheaper than learning to fly, so that's the route I chose. I believe me, and growing up with Cousteau and all that is very much true. But it was sort of an economic choice at the time too. Fresh out of college, 1990, and but I learned to dive here in West Virginia. My first 65 dives were in Summersville Lake before I ever made a dive in the ocean. First ever ocean dive was Panama City, Florida. I was wearing a Farmer John wetsuit at the time, just the bottom half, and managed to get stung from elbow to shoulder by a jellyfish. That didn't deter me, though. I typically wear a little bit more upper body covering now, though. And it led to a career. In '98, I applied for a job with Patty. Never thought I would even get a call back from them. Ended up getting the job and moved to California for a couple of years, Southern California. And it is cooler water, but I think that's really where I cut my teeth as a diver, I think. We were diving every weekend, running over to Catalina Island, the Channel Islands, all those places, and really cut my teeth. I had 100 or so dives under my belt at that point, but I really became a diver in California. And it's led to a career. I became a medic along the way, a diver medic, went to work for Divers Alert Network, wrote the Lessons for Life column for Scuba Diving Magazine for almost 15 years. And I've got a whole bunch of books too.
Wonderful. Thank you, all three of you, for your stories. I appreciate it. You're all very interesting, fascinating gentlemen, and interesting that Cousteau came up multiple times and uh, getting certified and the places you've been and the gin clear water, Paul, that's etched in my memory now. I appreciate that. And the
You must
writing too. The writing, the passion for writing is interesting, the thread that connects, and photography. So I'd like to very quickly, I really want to get to the slideshow of your pictures and then videos, but I'd like to quickly go over two things. I've asked each of you to send me a fictional quote from a movie, TV character, or a song lyric. I have just a little bit of research on each, and I'd like to go over it and ask you to relate it to our topic today. So we're getting pre-predictions phase, and then we'll do one prediction each, and then we'll go for the show. So Paul sent us a quote from Dorothy Gale, played by Judy Garland, The Wizard of Oz, the original 1939 musical fantasy film. According to the U.S. Library of Congress, it is the most seen film in cinematic history. I bet it's vying with Gone with the Wind. I bet there's a vying there. Best Picture at the Academy Award, won Oscar. It won, let's see, Best Original Song for Over the Rainbow, blah, blah, blah. It didn't make a profit until they re-released it. It was MGM's most expensive production at the time. Here's the quote Paul has picked. Paul, just take about a minute or two and tell us what this has to do with our topic, the future of underwater photography. Here we go. Toto, I've a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. I don't do a good Judy Garland impression, so I'm sorry about that. Paul, go ahead and tell us, what does this have to do with our topic, please?
Okay, pretty short and sweet. Basically, once you've been underwater, it's a whole nother experience or a whole nother world down there. I have a friend of mine who's also an author, and she titled it "The Universe Next Door." Basically, that's a good way to describe being underwater. So, basically, when I've been underwater and had the experiences I've had, seen the things I've seen, especially the first couple of times when you're really much more in awe of what you're seeing, it's like, wow, I'm not where I used to be anymore. Fill in the blank. Kansas, New York, Brooklyn schoolyard, wherever. Okay. So that's where I got the idea for that.
Thank you very much. And let's go to Gil's quote. Gil has picked one, and I don't do a good Humphrey Bogart impersonation either. This is from Bogey playing Rick Blaine to Captain Louis Renault, played by Claude Rains. The movie is Casablanca. So we started with the 1939 movie. We moved up to 1942. These are the best, aren't they? 1942 romantic drama film. This is the final scene of Casablanca. Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, Paul Heinrich, filmed and set in World War II, focuses on an American expat who must choose between his love for a woman and helping her husband, a Czech resistance leader, escape from the controlled city of Casablanca, blah, 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 blah. Here is the quote Gil has picked. Louis, I hope that's the way it's supposed to be pronounced. I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Okay, Gil, what does this have to do with our topic?
I have no idea what it means. No, seriously. I met Eric a couple of years ago, Eric. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I met Eric when I interviewed him for a story for In Depth magazine, and he called me his unofficial biographer ever since then. So we've become buddies. He's spoken to my scuba club. We keep in touch all the time. He's read and reviewed my book. And then I met Paul through our publisher. We both have the same publisher, Best Publishing. And we've become buddies, and we refer each other to podcasts like this one. I've got another one for him after this. So these two guys have become my virtual dive buddies and friends.
Very nice. So through what you love to do, you meet people that you want to be friends with. I like that. I like that a lot. Very good story there. Thank you. And Eric has picked an interesting quote. We're moving all the way up to 1980. Star Wars Episode V5, The Empire Strikes Back, 1980 epic space opera. I still haven't figured out what space opera is, but I did see Star Wars. Okay. This is directed by Irvin Kershner from a screenplay by Lee Brackett and Lawrence Kasdan, based on a story by George Lucas. That's what we want to know. The second film in the Star Wars film series and the fifth chronological chapter of the Skywalker saga. There we go. And here is the quote, 5 little words, and you're going to have to explain this one, Eric. The quote is, never tell me the odds. Okay, Eric, what does this have to do with our topic? Go.
I would think that would be self-explanatory. No,
don't do that to the host.
I don't tell me the odds. Don't tell me what I can't do. I think is what that comes down to for me. It's and I'm sure my fair gentleman here will agree. We've all done some kind of crazy stuff that not necessarily crazy as in dangerous, but crazy that the average person would never think they could or would do. Yeah, so don't tell me I'm a kid from West Virginia. Um, don't tell me I can't go travel the world and dive all over the place and uh, be read in multiple languages and all that sort of thing. Don't tell me I can't do that because I'm going to, whether you want me to or not.
And how does this relate to the future of underwater photography? Don't tell me the odds that I can go under the water with a little camera, maybe in a box, and I can take gorgeous pictures. Can we relate
Well,
it to that?
sure. I'll tell that story. I'll tell
Yeah.
a story along that lines here in a minute, or here in a bit when we showing pictures and things. But yeah, the first time I was involved in underwater video making, filmmaking, um, and that's just 30 years ago, but it was a completely different world. Now, where we were holding lights and cameras and all this stuff, and now you can get better images off of a camera that's this big. So that yeah, exactly.
Yep. I'm taking
Uh,
pictures. Thank you. Yep.
so that's where I think it is. Don't tell me that it's always going to be like this because it will change and change quickly.
There you go. And that's why you're here to talk about what you've got and what you think the future is going to be. And now we're going to go into a quick predictions round. I'm going to make this into a round table. So, Paul, I'm starting with your prediction number one. And why don't you unpack it briefly and then we'll see what Eric and Gil have to say. So, and gentlemen, you can agree or disagree with Paul. This is a friendly fire here. So it's up to
Okay,
you.
so I said that.
Wait. I'm going to read it. I have it here. You don't have to do anything.
All
Let me read it. Okay.
right,
That's
great.
my job. Underwater gear in general is advancing, Paul says. Dive equipment is becoming lighter. Computers can display more information. Eco-sustainable wetsuits. You have covered a gamut, Paul. Why don't you just expand this, pick any one of the three, or explain them all briefly, and then we'll see what Gil and Eric say. Go ahead, Paul.
Well, in general, everything that we use underwater is just getting better. The BCs, the buoyancy compensated vests that we use, are getting lighter, more just easy to maneuver and put on. It's becoming lighter, as I said. The computers we use to tell us what's going on in the water, to give us more information to keep us alive and let us know how we're doing during a dive. Um, Eco-sustainable wetsuit, for example, a lot of wetsuit manufacturers are using materials that will not degrade and make things more comfortable for us to use underwater. So the whole industry is making things more easy for the average person to do, which is a big step forward. So, you know.
Okay, let's see what your co-panelists have to say. Gil, what do you think? Agree or disagree? Anything you want to pick on there and elaborate for us, Gil? And then Eric?
I agree with all of it 100%. Last weekend, I was in Long Beach for Scuba Show, which is the largest consumer scuba convention in the world, 39th year. And row after row among the 400 vendors were all these advancements in wetsuits, in dry suits, in cameras, in masks, in BCs, everything. Everything's getting smaller, lighter, smarter. Agree with it all. Yeah.
Thank you. Eric, anything you want to seize on? And
You
answer?
know, 1998, 1999, I did a story for the Undersea Journal when I worked at Patty, but I went back to the very first issue of Skin Diver magazine, which is one of the literally first diving magazines from the 50s, black and white. But I looked at all of the equipment they were advertising, and when you compare, they had these old wetsuits that were literally like a plastic trash bag that you had to wrap up together and then bind over to close the. So yeah, the equipment is the changes to that are zippers, but yeah, I mean are changing impressively. I agree.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you for kicking off the predictions round. Gil, I'm going to your prediction number three. I will read it. Let's see where we go with this. Gil says less expensive, he predicts less expensive tracking hardware and software so dive boat operators never lose track of their divers. I'm just going to say, OMG, that's kind of important. So, Gil, unpack this for us, please.
Right. Yeah. A couple of months ago, well, I write a monthly story or column for Scuba Diving Industry magazine, which is a trade magazine. And earlier this year, I had the opportunity to interview the folks at Mari's, which is an Italian company, best known for their GPS, but they have created a buoy that floats in the water and it's got all the electronics, and all the divers wear devices that can be tracked by the buoy, and the liveaboard boat or your day boat tracks everyone in real time on radar, and they can see where all the divers are. So a diver wearing this equipment will never be left behind. And you can also communicate with other people in real time as you're diving with simple commands on the device you're wearing.
Very important. And we know when that goes awry, that's where you get your novels, that's where you get your mysteries, that's where you get your dramas, that's where we get TV shows with great underwater photography. Will they find her? Will he surface? Will he have enough air? We know that when that's not possible. Eric, you want to comment on what Gil shared, his prediction, and then Paul?
Sure. Actually, the fun part of that story from my perspective, not getting lost underwater, but in my very first novel, Cayman Cowboys, set in Grand Cayman, by the way, is I included similar technology to that as a prediction. And I had met a gentleman down there who I went diving with, who was testing out a similar type of device, but in that case, it worked the other direction. It was a sensor that you carried that helped you guide your way back to the boat.
Ah.
So basically, I kind of a stupid compass that told you which direction to go. And I don't think that ever made it to a commercial market, but I included that piece of technology in my book 20 years ago. And now it is becoming commercial, and now it is becoming a reality.
See what a visionary you are. Paul, you want to comment on this one?
Yeah, well, that's a surprise to me as far as what Gil was talking about. I didn't know that even existed yet, which is very refreshing because most of the diving I do in Cozumel is drift diving, meaning the boat doesn't stay anchored in one place. It kind of follows you along. And what the boat driver is supposed to do is follow your bubbles. And that can vary depending on service conditions and the skill of the boat driver. And I've been in situations where you come up and the boat's right there, or it's way far away because the guy didn't read your bubbles correctly. So this is a great technology. It would really ease my mind if I could get a hold of one of these things and use it in my next dive.
Steve, Paul, aren't you glad you came on the show today? Now,
Wow,
now
yeah.
you know. Gil, talk. Yes.
I want to add something to this. So I was in Little Cayman a couple of years ago with my dive club, and one member of our dive club, everyone told me in advance, this guy likes to go off on his own. And he's had over 1,000 dives, so he knows what he's doing. But we call him the Wandering Jew because he'd get in the water and he'd disappear, and then he'd come back on the boat. But I'd heard a story that he was in Indonesia, like Raja Ampat, and he was so far away from the boat, he came up on the wrong boat. He thought this other boat was our boat.
That's like putting your clicker in a Florida parking lot and coming up with the wrong white sedan. We'll leave that one alone. Thank you very much. That was a great prediction, Gil and Eric and Paul. Thanks for commentary. Eric, I'm going to your prediction number one. This is interesting. I've tried to pick one that's different from each of you. Eric says, AI will make it possible for heads-up displays in masks to identify fish and coral underwater as you swim. This sounds very interesting. Eric, tell us a little more, please. Is it here?
It's not here yet, but it's extrapolation. There are heads-up displays in masks already that will display your depth, your time, and your air pressure. Yeah. So there's not, and especially with the leaps that AI has made in the last 2 years, there's not a doubt in my mind that it'll turn into almost like a virtual reality mask where you can see a fish swim by and it will tell you, oh, that's a Goliath grouper and it's native to, and give you all that information rather than coming up on the boat afterwards and going, did anybody see the really big fish? And trying to having somebody explain it to you.
I have a Birdfi, Birdfy,
Mhm.
Wi-Fi bird feeder in my yard here, and it has a solar panel that keeps it charged, and it has a camera, and it reports to me who visited the bird feeder. And
Yep.
I have the videos. It says 10 seconds ago, a northeastern red warbler visited, and I get to look at the video. Sometimes I just stand up and look out the window too, but that's the same idea. It identifies through AI. Gil or Paul want to comment on what Eric just shared, and then we're going to go to our
Yeah,
slideshow.
of all the predictions that you had put into our previews that we were able to read before the show, that one caught my attention the most because it was like a wow moment. Like, wow, that's pretty really cool. I'm familiar with the kind of mask Eric was talking about that display your information on depth and all that kind of good stuff. But this kind of a prediction that could really open things up for the average diver who's not sure what they're looking at
Yep.
uh, is really tremendous.
Good. That's why I share these with you. Gil, thoughts?
Yeah, I was fascinated by it too. And I know commercial divers have this kind of technology where they get a display that they can read inside the mask. And Google and Meta made glasses like that. So it's just one
Mhm.
step further to add the fish identification and so on.
There you go. Eric, thank you for that. Go ahead, Eric. You want to say
I,
something?
I was just going to say, I have an app on my phone similar to your bird feeder, which we have one of those too,
Yeah.
but it listens to bird calls and,
Oh,
and identifies the whatever birds I'm hearing in my backyard
Cool.
and shows me pictures and I can click on it and it gives me all that information.
that's a
So,
wow.
so yeah, I think we're there. We just nobody's done it yet.
I want to know what birds are waking me up at 5:30 in the morning on my back porch every
I can
morning.
tell you the app if you're interested in it.
You send it to email it to me. Okay, gentlemen, thank you for the predictions and the quotes. We're going to do a screen share now, and I'm going to find the slideshow. And can you all see this? Yes, I
Yeah.
hope so. Okay. By the way, let me go back one slide. I do something called Teddy Friends, little scenes every night. I think Paul has received some. And
Yep.
yesterday, in honor of the three of you, this is AI. I asked AI to create three Teddy Friends. There's a girl there, and she's got the heart-shaped glasses on the left, who are ready to go diving. And I did this in honor of the three of you for today. So I'm using this for the
Thank you.
opening slide. Okay. So
Thank
here
you.
we go. And now there's wonderful pictures of the three of you, and there I am. And now let's go. So this is going to fade in here, Paul J. Mila, and then we have Gil Zeimer, and then we have Eric Douglas. Yours just stay still there, Eric. Okay, now Paul, why don't you narrate, and I'll just be in control here, and I'll just go. You just say next, and I will go ahead.
Okay,
Paul?
yeah, well, this is from one of those bucket list moments where I always wanted to do something crazy, like do something with great white sharks, but in a safe manner. So these photos were taken from a cage off Guadalupe Island in Mexico, where I wanted to do this for a long time, and I kept putting it off until one day in Cozumel, a guy came back from this trip, showed me his pictures, and talked about it. And I said I have to do this. So I got in touch with the people who run this particular expedition, and hung out with the great whites for several days from the safety of a cage.
Mhm.
I tested the bars, because I saw that last scene from Jaws where the cage didn't work too well. So we were pretty safe. And, I know some people do diving with great whites without a cage. From what I've seen, what I learned from seeing them from inside a cage, they're so unpredictable. That's something I would never do. I've seen great whites, they had to kind of chum the water with some fish to get them close to the cage. And sometimes you think they're going to go for the fish, and they just turn away. Or they're just going to go by it. Nope, they did a quick bite and took it. So their behavior is so unpredictable. I would never do something like this without the safety of, in this case, I mean, most sharks prefer, I say, sushi to prime rib. So I'm not worried about that with most sharks.
I'm going to go to the. You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, there you
Well,
are.
Yeah, that was me getting into the cage. Doing
Wow.
the Jimmy Buffett fins up salute. And just from the standpoint of underwater photography, one of the things that we teach if we're doing underwater photography is to try to get below your subject and shoot upwards. So our cages, we could go either 15 feet or 40 feet. So and this was a deeper cage dive, and we had some great whites going right over us, and it gave us great opportunities to get these, I would call them money shots. They're really nice, great shots, and good
This
memory.
is a great one. Let's go. Whoa, we're turtle time. Talk to me.
Harry Hawksbill, yeah. One of the
Gorgeous.
things about Cozumel is that they have numerous different types of sea turtles. I happen to just send you all of a hawksbill. These are 3 hawksbill shots. We see green turtles and loggerheads. And it's just one of those places that's kind of magical. And you can, as long as you don't do something stupid like try and reach out and touch them, they'll hang out, spend time, swim close by, give you great photo ops and great experiences. And that's the goal, is to just leave bubbles, don't take anything else, don't damage anything, and be a good diver as far as respecting wildlife.
Paul, this looks like a painting on the right, and I'm just going to say you never see a turtle like this crossing the road. I'm sorry. This is just gorgeous. Let's move on. More turtles. Tell me.
Once again, shooting upwards. I happened to get lucky. I saw a turtle, another hawksbill, going through my bubbles, and it was one of those kind of artistic shots. And I just kind of took it that way. And the one to the left is a photo by that Allison Dennis, our dive instructor, happened to be. She likes to shoot shots, so I gave her my camera. I'm never in my shots. I'm always taking pictures. So I said, take the camera. I want to be in the shot. And she got a great shot of a hawksbill going by me, and we kind of swam together for a while, and she took the shot. So thank you, Allison.
Beautiful. Let's go. It's time to look at, all right, tell us what these are. I know, but tell us.
Yeah, these are the 4 children's books that came about totally almost accidental. Writing kids' books was not on my radar until I met Best Publishing at a Beneath the Sea show in New Jersey. And they had a booth where they're showcasing their books and things like that. And they said, would you be interested in writing children's books? I said, hadn't thought about it, but yeah, sure. And I had the idea, I have so many photos, instead of hiring an illustrator, why not use my photos to tell the story along with the text in the book, so children can actually see what these animals really look like in their own environment and give it some context. So what I've done, which is a little bit interesting for kids' books, instead of having an illustrator draw pictures of what the animals might be doing, I was able to find enough pictures that I could pick the appropriate shots and write the stories around the photographs to tell whatever story I wanted to tell.
Very clever. And I like the way you've done alliterative titles, the names: Gracie Green, Harry Hawksbill, Larry Loggerhead, Sally Stingray. Very nice. Let's go. Oh, tell us a little bit about the inspiration. Who are these two adorables?
Larry Loggerhead, and I think we might see a video later on.
Yeah.
Was that we came across a huge a loggerhead sea turtle the size of a truck going past us. And all of a sudden I see his shell had a huge gash. His flippers were kind of abraded from being rubbed against or hit by a boat probably or whatever. And after I watched the video, I got home, I said, okay, I have an idea for my next book. Because the ideas for my books just come out of nowhere. Every book I've written, I thought would be my last book. But then something happens, whether it's one of my novels or the kids' books, I either meet somebody interesting or have an interesting experience or whatever, and that becomes a book. And in this case, that's what happened with Larry Loggerhead. Although the interesting thing was, it was supposed to be Lori Loggerhead until the folks at the Sea Turtle Hospital that I went to photograph some turtles there, they read the rough draft, and they said, no, you see this big, huge, thick tail? Yeah. See those little claws on the flipper that they use to hang on to females when mating? I said, yeah. Well, it's not Lori's. You better make it Larry's. So he became Larry Loggerhead. I had the sex wrong.
No comment on gendering. There we go. Tell us about this one.
Well, okay. This was, again, diving with humpback whales. This was snorkeling because, as we were told, when we went to a whale sanctuary for the ones at the top, the 3 across the top, were taken in the Dominican Republic off the Silverbank. The ones at the bottom were taken in Tonga, South Pacific. And we were told you don't go down scuba diving with whales because in whale culture, and humpback whales and most whales have a culture. They communicate. They have certain behaviors. Blowing bubbles underwater can be taken as a sign of aggression. And the captain said, trust me, you don't want to piss off a 50-ton whale, so no bubbles. So I said, great. So these are all taken while snorkeling. And the amazing thing about the top left shot is that you'll see that whale. There's a baby whale on top that I had taken. And all of a sudden, the mother came by, and I said, maybe this wasn't a good idea to be so close to the baby. But as she came by me, you look at her left pectoral fin. She was so close. I have these huge, long pectoral fins, about 10 feet long. She was so close, she would hit me with a fin. She drew it behind her, alongside her body, so she wouldn't hit me, and then cruised right past me.
Wow.
Those 2 photos on the right are the top of the baby, one I used for the book. So I had lots of experiences, and then again, down in the bottom ones are in Tonga. Seeing mothers and babies react like this and take great pains not to hurt us and be respectful of our space in the water gave me the idea to write a book about saving whales, because at the time when I wrote the book, Japan, Norway, and Iceland were trying to subvert the International Whaling Commission's ban on commercial whaling. And having seen these experiences, had these experiences, I said, I have to do something. So this became Whales Angels. And that's
Nice.
the Whales apostrophe. The apostrophe means the angels are the people who go out inside in front of the harpoons with those small boats, like the guys from Sea Shepherd.
Yep.
So that they can't shoot the whales. So that's the background of the story.
Thank you. And a couple of your other books, just
Yeah,
briefly tell us.
Okay, well, the first one, those ones on the right, those two fiction ones, Dangerous Waters was my first one. What was dangerous wasn't the shark, was more the people, were the dangerous people, who were the dangerous factors in the book. Fireworks became a book after experiencing 9/11. It's a long story behind that. I won't go into that now. But the nonfiction on the left is my only nonfiction book, Bubbles Up. Another diving friend from the West Coast, Judy Hemingway, was a writer. She's the one that wrote The Universe Next Door about describing our underwater adventures.
Mm-hmm.
And we put our adventures together and became Bubbles Up. And if I have a quick moment to tell you where the title came from, I'm a Jimmy Buffett fan. One day, Jimmy Buffett wanted to get a ride in the Tomcat. And from an admiral friend said, okay, I can arrange that, but you have to take safety lessons, which one of the lessons is going into a pool with a cockpit that turns upside down. You have to get out, go to the surface. The day of his test, he's really nervous, and his admiral friend comes by, pats him on the back, and says, "Hey, rock star, if you get nervous, remember it's bubbles up, meaning follow your breath to the surface." That's what the title came from.
It's a great story. Just tell us quickly what these are. I want to make sure we get time for Gil and Eric. Go ahead.
Quickly, these are just the other four novels. Actually, I have a couple since then, and one I'm working on now. And basically, it's I don't want to take any more time from the rest of my guests, but there's four more novels. They kind of follow each other, but I wrote them in such a way that you can pick up any one and figure out who's who in the book,
Mm-hmm.
even though the same characters appear and the stories are all different, but they're all based on people I've met, experiences I've had that turned into novels.
And your covers are beautiful. Your photography is beautiful.
One mistake I made, I'll just
Yes.
end this quickly. Contrasting, for example, with Eric's book, you should make if you're a novelist, especially, you should make your covers consistent. These aren't. I wrote, I thought it would be my last book. I said, I'm not going to write any more books. Looking back, I should have taken care to make my covers consistent, which you'll see with Eric's books are very consistent, and you know who wrote the book.
Yes, I saw that. I was looking at the fonts and the sizes and the placement of your name.
Good thing to do. No,
it's we love your books anyway, Paul. It's fine. Gil, you're up. Tell us about these photos. Thank you, Paul. Go ahead, Gil.
Okay, so I'm embarrassed by my photos compared to these two guys. I have this little handheld camera, and I write word pictures. I take pictures to help me remember a moment in the dive, but they're snapshots, they're not portraits. So I'll start with that caveat. So on the left was in Cozumel, this was one of my best shots. It's a silhouette of three divers with the sun above us. On the bottom right, this was part of a video of a free swimming moray eel. And in all the years of diving, I've only seen free swimming moray eels a handful of times. It's kind of rare.
Go on. These are gorgeous. What are these?
On the left, I was in Palau last year. This manta ray was like 12 feet across. Huge, giant Pacific manta ray. But I'd like the juxtaposition of the manta ray with the Moorish idol. On the right, little caiman, green sea turtle.
Lovely. Let's go. Oh, there you are. Is that you? All you?
Yeah, the bottom left, when I had hair, that was 1981. I was 32 years old there in Grand Cayman. Top left was 4 years later in Granbury, Texas. And then the middle shot was taken by Paul Human, who's a famous underwater photographer and fish chronicler. That was in Belize. And in the bottom right was a funny shot I took in a dive shop in Palau.
Thank you for those. Talk to me. Oh, this is beautiful.
This was Little Cayman, just a whole school of fish with nice lighting with the little see-through in the back there.
Lovely. I put it into a green frame. I thought that would offset the fins.
Very nice.
Beautiful. And this is your book. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so my book is about diving is a serious sport. It's a potentially dangerous sport. We know what happened in the Maldives a few weeks ago with those 5 Italian divers in the cave. But I look on the lighter side of things, and most of the stories I've written are humorous, things about trying to propose to my wife underwater and so on.
Oh,
She almost drowned. But most of the stories I wrote, and both these guys have read my books and reviewed it. Thank you. So it's called Scuba Storyteller, which is how I brand myself, mostly humorous diving tales by an addicted aquanaut. And on the
mm-hmm.
cover, there's a great quote from Jeff Bosnick, who's a famous diver and Nogi Award winner, where he said, "At times I was laughing so hard I nearly peed in my dry suit." Some of the headlines of my diving stories are waterlogged proposals, my first time, low anxiety, getting narked in Belize's Great Blue Hole. The sun also burns. I've had skin cancer twice, so I'm very aware of that. I wrote an article,
Mm-hmm.
Divers Alert Network, about skin cancer. The day I wrote a manta ray, Maui March Madness, honeymooning with humpbacks, and a couple of more stories. My dive buddy wears diapers. It's not about people my age, but it's about my daughter. And the last story I wrote that got into the book was an interview with Wendy Benchley, Peter Benchley's widow.
Mm.
Was at 50, this shark still has legs.
Ooh.
So that was a serious story. Was the one I wrote for Eric and a gentleman, Ken Stewart, who has an organization called Diving with a Purpose, where he has certified over 500 Black divers. But most of the stories are humorous. And there's also a whole section on advertising showing the 10 favorite ads I've ever written in the back of the book, because it's
Thank
all about the
you.
headlines for me.
Thank you, Gil. Beautiful cover. And Eric, it's your turn. Tell us about these covers. I got a whole bunch of them here.
So these are just an array. This isn't the whole series, but my primary series of novels is the Mike Scott thriller series. Mike Scott is a photojournalist who travels the world and gets into sticky situations and then has to work his way out of them. I have a friend who always says that he never wants to travel anywhere with Mike Scott because there's always something going sideways whenever Mike shows up on an island somewhere. But they go from Cayman to North Carolina and Cuba to
Mm.
that's Tulum, Mexico, on the cover of Heart of the Maya. And yeah, so there's 11 stories in that primary series. You can go to the next one.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And these are three more. Held Hostage in the middle there is the most recent of the books. And it's almost all of these. That one's actually not, but almost all of these are also my photographs on the covers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Held Hostage is not one of mine. But and it's set, starts in North Carolina, ends off the coast of Mexico, searching for the Nuestra Senora de Yuncal. It's a Spanish galleon shipwreck. And there's all kinds of stuff going on. Mike's fiance's in trouble. And I will tell you a story real fast.
Yeah.
Mike Scott is actually named after one of my best friends from high school and college. His name was Michael Scott Burnsworth. He passed away from cancer at about 21, 22 years old.
Mm.
And this is my way of keeping Mike alive, remembering him
Beautiful.
and giving him a life that he never had.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Let me go to the next one.
Yep. Water Crisis Day Zero is just another one. That was the 10th book in the series. I'm really proud of that book, especially because it takes a very serious topic, and I think you learn some stuff from it too about the problems with freshwater supplies all over the world
Mm-hmm.
and the disruption that lack of fresh water is causing in places, to the point of civil wars are being fought over freshwater supplies. And the picture on the right is actually from Summersville Lake. That's underwater looking up at the trees around the lake.
Beautiful. A couple more from you. And then, Eric, I'm going to ask you to play your videos. I'm going to give you share control, and then I'll
Okay.
come back and do the others. So go ahead.
So Green Sea Turtle, Florida Keys. That's an old shipwreck or an old ship's anchor. It's off the Benwood, actually, in the Florida Keys, if you guys have been there. And then I think it's a smallmouth bass Also in my local lake, in Summersville Lake here in West Virginia. I still make it up there to dive. Hopefully, I'll be up there in the next week or two, and I still make it up there regularly. I will say, well, yeah, both of these are from Grand Cayman. The one on the left is a friend of mine who a stalwart in the dive industry who recently passed away as well. And then the other one is just to swim through in the
Beautiful.
corals in Grand Cayman.
Beautiful. And we got, I think this is the last one I think I have for you.
This is the last one.
What are these boats?
These are, well, the one on the left is, I believe me, I like seafood as much as everybody else in the world, but this is a fishing trawler, and just the boats or the birds, excuse me, flying around and just trailing that fishing trawler, because unfortunately there's a fair amount of bycatch in operations like this, and then they just throw the fish out that they don't want, that aren't commercial, and so the birds know that and follow along. It's kind of wasteful, obviously. The birds
Yeah.
love it, but it's
Birds
kind of
love it.
wasteful.
I'm going to stop the sharing and bring us back, and we're
Sure.
waiting for Paul to refresh there. Eric, I'm giving you control. I'm not sharing anything right now. You want to play a video for us?
Sure.
And then Gil, I know you have to leave. I'll do your video next, and then Paul's. Paul has disappeared on us.
Thanks. He'll come back.
Okay. Oh, he will. There you go. Paul's back. Okay. All yours, Eric.
Am I sharing?
You hit the share at the bottom of the screen there and go to video, advanced and video, and then play what you've got. I couldn't do it.
Okay. Um,
You see it? The share button on the bottom screen?
I do.
Advanced and video. Here we go.
Can you see the video?
Yes,
So-
it played.
This is a shipwreck off the Florida Keys. We're about 120 feet or so down in the shipwreck.
Wow.
The main reason this is not a stellar video by any stretch, but the main reason I wanted to include this is I was talking earlier about how cameras used to be large. We literally had cables going back to the surface. This is a GoPro. So this is literally on my wrist.
Yeah.
Really?
As we're swimming along at 120 feet down.
Really? Wow. Do you have another video for us?
Yep. I want to show you. Actually, here's a real quick one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not the one. Well, we'll go ahead and do that one next. This is about a minute long, but it's so about a month and a half ago, I was diving in the Cooper River in Charleston, South Carolina, and this is the area, small boat,
Looks cold.
back roll entry. This is black water diving, between the tannins in the water and everything else. You can, it's literally a night dive at noon, but we were searching for megalodon shark's teeth. And here's me finding a small one. I'll hold that up in a second.
What kind of a camera for this, Eric?
This is also a GoPro.
Really?
This is a GoPro and a small handheld light. That's all I was carrying.
Oh my goodness.
Just a
I
flashlight.
found a bigger one than that too on this dive. And then, and a couple quick, it took me probably half an hour to edit that together. And that's the changes in technology. It's pretty phenomenal.
It is. You want to do
I've
one
got
more?
I've
One
got
more, and then
other-
we'll do Gil. Go ahead.
All right.
Yep. These are great. Ooh.
I love this video just because how often do you get to see a conch walk?
You see a purple. I'm sorry, I didn't say that.
Walking over to the soup bowl to become
Conch.
This is 20, 30 feet of water in the Keys, and he's just making his way along, and they move faster than you would imagine they would.
Really? It's hard to see him moving, but it's a beautiful picture. Oh, I see the trail. I see the trail.
Exactly.
Okay. If you stop sharing, I'm going to go to one of Gil's videos now. If you just got it.
the Palau video that we had already.
Hold on.
I'm going to stop. I've just stopped Eric's sharing, and
all right.
I'm going to go to share. Eric, thank you so much. Let me go to advanced. Let me go to video. Let me go to share. And I have share. Come on. And let's see now. I have Gil Manta Palau. Yes, we'll do that one.
Okay, so this is
And
not
there we
great
go.
quality, but this captures. You sit on your knees with the other divers, confluence of the Indian and the Pacific Oceans, and the giant manta rays come in to feed, and it's like air traffic control. One after another.
Wow.
Right by, you see one on the left there.
Wow. Let me go. Oops. Let me
There's
stop it and let me stop sharing that one and let me go to another video and let's see if we can get one from. You have another one you sent me, Gil?
Oh, that's okay. I have to actually
And
jump off now, but
I
thank
know
you.
you do. Thank you so much. And I'll
Guys.
send you all the links. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
And
Take care,
Paul's
Gil.
going to stay. And Paul, I'm going to play your videos now. There we go. And let's do